So here's the 4L80. As you can see, the green plug plugs right in, and then the rear you plug in where the 4L60, the VSS sensor went. You plug in the original connector back into the rear one, and you have to add in this connector here, and then you have to swap around a couple wires inside the actual green connector. And as you can see, my sensors are color matched beautifully to my tranny, so it's always a plus, you know, to have color matched sensors. But yeah, let me show you what modifications you have to do to the wiring. There's a nice diagram you can find at the Sloppy Mechanics Wiki page. I'm a huge fan of his videos, and pretty much the whole turbo build on the truck is inspired by the Sloppy Mechanics, so I really recommend checking out their videos if you haven't. But so pretty much, as you can see there, what you have to do is on the green connector you just remove pin S and pin U, and then you insert the brown wire, which is pin U, into the S position, and you're done with that. So, and then it shows the other two alternatives, but the best one is just to pull out the wire and then switch it. That way you have a one straight wire all the way running to it, no, you know, bad connections or anything like that. Pretty much just pop off that clip, the clip on this side, then the clip on this side, and you'll expose the wiring behind here. Okay, so once you have the cover removed, it'll expose the back wiring. Now I'm pretty sure you probably can't see that on the screen, but all the wires have like a letter marked next to them to show you which one they are. Pretty much looking at the plug from the top, you see this, the alignment line there. I've marked it with yellow paint so you can kind of tell, and it's this one here and then this one here. This is S, this is U. Pop off the green part, you just put a little pig tool like that one and kind of lift it. Alright guys, so pretty much you see that little tab sticking out there at the bottom. You pretty much kind of try to get your pick in there and push it back to allow the pin to slide through. Pretty much S is this one here, that's a white wire, and U is this one here, and that's the brown wire. So pretty much once you do that, you pull out the rubber like weather strip sealant, and you just pretty much pull out the white wire here from it, so you pretty much make sure you slide it back in the same spot. Just pull out the brown wire first, and then pull out the white wire. Pull out the white wire, slide in the brown wire into the same spot, pull it through, and then looking at it from the bottom, the one you slide it back in is this pin here next to the blue wire. You just slide it back in and you're set. That's the wiring change you do on the green connector. And pretty much this white wire, you can just tape it off and then leave it here hidden inside the wiring because you don't need it no more. Alright guys, so trying to make this as simple as possible. Looking at this side where the white arrow is here, this, if you're looking at it, this will be facing you, and then you pretty much just tilt it like this, and originally this brown wire here will be where this white wire is. So pretty much all you're gonna do is just swap the wire which was here, which was the brown wire, swap it over to this spot here, which is where originally this white wire is. So you just pretty much take the brown wire out of this spot here and swap it over to this spot here, and that's the only modification you do to the green connector. So yeah guys, you just pretty much tape up the white wire, the lead, so no water or something gets in there. You could also just take apart your wiring and remove this single wire, but it's kind of a lot of work, so I'm just gonna tape it off, and then you just put tape around it so no water or corrosion or nothing gets in there, and then you just slide your loom back over it, and you won't have the wire hanging loose at the end over here, hanging out. Then you just put your clip back on it. I'm gonna wait to put it back on because I think originally the way it's set up, it pushes the wires like this way, or in a way, but I think on the 480, just pretty much orientate it a different way so it pushes the wires towards the motor. So I'm gonna just wait to put this clip on. Once again, guys, on the same wiki page for Sloppy Mechanics, it shows the connector. Pretty much pin A goes to pin 22 on the computer. Pin B goes from the sensor goes to 23 on the computer connector. So it's pretty straightforward. So pretty much on the kind of top of the screen it shows which pin is which. So here on my actual connector here, looking at it like this, pin A is the right side, pin B is left, and so pin A is the red wire, pin B is the blue wire, and the actual computer connector, let's see here, it's all numbered like I said earlier. So you see 22, 23, and it'll have a little like block off, a little rubber seal. Just poke a little hole in it with like a paper clip, because that's pretty much what's gonna seal your wire from like water going in or moisture. So just rip a little hole in it and then push your wire through. So here's the computer connector. It has the tab here on the side, other tab here on this side. You push them in and you'll take off the red cover like this side here. You take that off, and then I already put in my pin A into 22. It was my red black wire. Now pin B will go on into 23. Just poke a little hole with the paper clip, because that little rubber there's pretty much what's going to seal the wire from moisture or water getting in there. Then just start pushing it through, and then you'll hear it click, and as you can see there, it won't let it go back out. So once you do that, you just run your wire all the way through the loom. Alright guys, so in the stock application, the wiring kind of comes through the top kind of like this. And so here's where the wiring comes out. I'm going to leave a little slack in it just because it might be a little different once it's actually in the truck. But it's something a little like this. The wiring's kind of on top on the side, kind of where the wiring kind of goes clamped to like the fuel lines. So yeah, I'm gonna just leave it like this, kind of wire like this, and I think I'm gonna pull the pins out and just solder them straight to here, and then there, or maybe I just might cut the wire there and then solder it together here. I just like the idea of just having a single run of wires all the way from up front, so I'm gonna try and see if I do that or which way I do, but pretty much just run your wiring kind of how it is, the way you're gonna run it, so you know what length to leave for this wire. And then yeah, then you just, after you do that, you kind of know where to put it. This wire is pinned into the computer. It goes all the way through the wiring. I have it exposed there. Through here, this is where it bolts in the back of the intake, up to the front, up to the actual computer connector. Well, I just ended up soldering it. So now I'm just gonna put, I forgot to put heat shrink tubing over the top before soldering it, so I'm just gonna just put electrical tape, I guess, and then just tape it up all the way to where the main harness is. And then I'm just gonna leave this out, just because I think they twist it like this to try to prevent from like interference, signal interference. So I'm just gonna leave this out of the loom so that there's less chances of signal interference. I mean, I'm not sure, I just think that's why they twist it, because when you run a wire like parallel to each other, there's more chances for signal interference. So this way they're kind of running like on a different like axes as the rest of the wires. Alright guys, so there it is, all done now. Pretty much now your 480 is ready to go into your truck. Well, at least the electrical part. You still gotta fab up a cross member, and then sometimes you might, well, for sure you're gonna need a new yoke for the tranny, and then maybe a new drive shaft too, not sure. Actually, you probably will need to get it like I think it's like 1.5 inches shorter or something like that, but I'll cover that once I get to that part. Still not there. So for now, the wiring part of the 4L80 swap is done. Here's the new connector added with enough slack for error. So yeah, pretty much all you really have to do in summary is just wire in this sensor here, and then flip the wires inside the green connector, and that's all you have to do for the wiring part. So now let's swap it in.